Hi everyone, and welcome back to Power Up with Elin. So here I am, minding my business. I was scrolling, I think it was through YouTube, and I was just looking at some tutorial video. And I came across this app called Motion. And the app markets itself as an AI executive assistant. So it's supposed to draft emails, manage calendar, and organize agendas. And to much surprise, executives are actually experimenting with this tool and replacing some assistants, partly to cut costs, but partly because assistants are stuck in tactical work that AI can now automate. Worked in the assistant role for over 20 years. So it's really important for not only assistants, but everyone's role to kind of take a step back and figure out how is AI going to change things, or what is the disruption that this is going to cause in professions as a whole. And so with tools like ChatGPT, even strategies at risk of automation, because feasibility report, market analysis, strategic options can now be generated in seconds. So the real question becomes, if AI can handle tasks and strategy, what value do we bring to the table? Are we shaping this transition, or are we waiting for it to be reshaped for us? Not only the assistant role, but roles in general, they won't remain static. I believe that by 2030, these roles could evolve into multiple pathways. So let's take the assistant role. There's some titles, let's just say, that are operating today that will be the natural progression, I believe, for assistants for 2030. But it's not the typical assistant. It's the assistant that is more strategic and enterprising. So let's take the chief of staff role. That is a natural progression to an assistant. The chief of staff roles, it focuses a lot on strategy, governance, board relations. But the presence of AI will push it deeper into strategy, deeper into politics, deeper into stakeholder management. There's another role, and it's called the Chief Administrative Officer, and it's called the CAO. And it's a permanent role in some sectors, but it's mainly focused on running executive offices, governance, alignment, and executive capacity. There's another one that's really interesting. It's called Chief Knowledge Officer. It's rare today, but growing. And owning the knowledge flow, briefing, decision is a really interesting role. Then there's the Chief Operating Officer. It's enterprise-wide, but not out of reach for many assistants today, because a lot of assistants are already micro COOs for their executives. So what is the point? Get to the point, Elin. The point is that there's no one right title. As we talk about the assistant role, there's multiple executive level pathways, and assistants and executives alike need to start having conversations of which one makes sense, how is AI shaping the role, and what upskilling is needed for that transition. The bottom line is that AI is reshaping every role in general. So not only assistants must move beyond the support role and more into an officer ownership, whether that's COS, the CAO, the CKO, or COO. The question is the same for all of us. What are we bringing to the table that a machine cannot? We really have to wrestle with that, because everyone's role is really going to change. I believe that. We need to start these conversations now, not only about how to work with AI. The majority of the conversation is around us working with AI and coming together in collaboration with AI. I know how to integrate it into my work, but the real question is, now that I'm having AI do these tasks that I no longer need to do, then what am I doing to add value? Because at some point, me doing these tasks that are now automated added value, and it was part of my day-to-day. But now that that's being replaced with automation, which is great, what am I doing with my time? I have to rethink, how else am I going to add value now that I have the free time and the capacity to not only integrate myself into a more strategic role, but where else can I add value in the organization? It's not only a one-sided conversation. The executives and leadership have to be part of these conversations, because already leadership doesn't even know what to do with a good assistant. I think everyone has this idea that an assistant is directive, tactical, and you tell the assistant what to do when the assistant is a doer. Many assistants today, like myself, we are very strategic. We are heavily involved in the operations side of the business. We also do budgeting and finances. We wear many different hats. As we are now replacing those automated tasks, how are we going to reshape our role? And we have to be part of these conversations. And if we don't, then the transition will happen without us, and we will simply be forced to adapt. I think that it's important for us to make sure that we're part of the decision-making process and not just on the receiving end of it. I'm curious to hear what your thoughts on. There's just so much talk about AI and the benefits of AI, how to work with AI, and the literacy of AI, but are people taking the time to think about these things? I mentioned before, look at this app. I mean, let me share so that you can see what I'm talking about. Here it is. And it is called Motion. As you can see, it says Motion, AI Executive Assistant. That should raise red flags, because the minute I saw this, I was like, wait, hold on. AI is getting very sophisticated. So how am I going to now be ahead of the game? There's the human aspect of the work that we do, but that's no longer enough. And the more sophisticated AI will be, higher the expectation is in whatever role we're in. And I think that we really need to take the time out to have these hard conversations, first and foremost with ourselves. But if we're part of an organization, talking to leadership and having those conversations so that we take a proactive approach rather than a reactive approach. I would love to hear your input, your comments, your experience. What do you think about this? For me personally, AI is great because now it frees up time for me to do better things with my time. And I'm a person that works very fast, so the speed of AI works with the way I work. I welcome the change, but I'm also very aware and proactive in what I'm bringing to the table and upskilling and making sure that I'm prepared. So I hope that you guys do the same. Again, please share your comments below. Subscribe to my channel. I have to tell you, very transparent here. I'm new to this podcast. I wanted to create a safe space for myself and for other people to learn and to share their thoughts. Please welcome me into your homes, and I will look forward to talking to you in the next episode. Take care.